In this video, we will discuss the major characteristics of diasporas. I have already seen that diasporas are a distinct, dispersed population. They are distinct from other communities. The first character is dispersal. We know that diasporas are resulted from dispersal. They are the people who are thrown away from the homelands to other alien lands. It is created, diasporas created when a portion of a community migrates and settles in another land or other parts of the world. It is often caused by several reasons. It is caused by economic possibilities, political upheavals, conflicts, or environmental changes. There are numerous reasons for the establishment of diasporas. They are caused by economic possibilities, political upheavals, armed conflicts, or environmental changes. Diasporas are caused by economic possibilities, political upheavals, armed conflicts, and environmental changes. We know that many communities have fled from their own home on political reasons. Economic reason is the major reason for migration and diaspora. People usually migrate in search of economic possibility. The flow from the developing countries to the developed nations in search of better economic opportunities is a usual form of diaspora formation. So also is the reason of political upheavals. Also, the political issues, problems lead to migration and diaspora formation. Many people leave their own country to seek asylum in other countries. And armed conflict is another reason that push people out of a nation. In the history, there are a lot of examples for migration due to armed conflict. Environmental factors also encourage people or push people to migrate. And the next aspect is transnational connections. Transnational connections is another feature of diasporas, because diasporas is a community that is who left their own country and settled in another country. So there is a connectivity between the country of origin and the country of destination. So these diaspora communities usually keep their relations, ties with both these locations. They continuously engage with their home state, interact with the home state, relate with the home states or the affairs of the home state. This continues even after they're settling down in the host nations. And these ties, these transnational ties of diasporas are visible in remittances, in their economic networks, in their cross-cultural interactions, and political participation in domestic issues. Remittance is the most visible. Remittance is the most visible interaction of diaspora communities with the homeland. Many of the diasporas send considerable amounts of money to the homelands. This is used by that benefits the households, migrant households, their local economy, or the concerned nation states. They are also involved in cross-cultural interactions. They interact with many other cultures, not just that of their own culture, but with the culture of the host countries. Many diasporas are actively engaging in the political issues of their homeland, especially the diasporas who have migrated due to political issues. They may be fighting for their political rights back at home, or the rights of the people who are left back at home. They may be trying to bring about political reforms in their own countries, political changes in their own country. So they may be pumping donations for political organizations in their home country. So various types of political participations are there. Then collective identity. Collective identity is another feature of the diaspora communities. Even if they are away from their own home, they establish and maintain their cultural identity. They stick on to their own language, and they keep the memories of their own culture, their own history in their mind, in their pursuit to keep their collective identity intact. So usually the members of diaspora communities have a strong sense of belonging based on this shared identity. They take pride in their past. They take pride in their ancestral origin. They take pride in their own identity. And this has a distinct functionality because this kind of identity promotes a harmony and belonging together, and a feeling of belonging together, intensifies a strong we feeling among the diaspora communities. And another distinctive character of diaspora communities is the orientation towards their homeland. The diasporas are usually highly oriented to the homelands. They have strong attachment to their own country, their own community, their own place of origin, their own nationality. And this is often reflected in their cultural practices, the rituals and traditions they stick on to. So all these things, the celebrations of their festivals, native festivals, so all these show that diasporas have a strong orientation towards their homeland. Another feature of diasporas is the hybrid identities. The diasporas, they often create identities combining the characteristics of both their home and host nations. So it's a mixing together of different identities, different characteristics of life. Even though they integrate and fit into the host country in a commendable way, they also preserve at least some of the previous culture. And they celebrate the culture. They find pride in holding these cultural traits of their own homeland. Celebration of their own festivals and performance of their own rituals show this hybridity. Even though the diasporas are geographically separated from homeland, they preserve their identity and culture for long time. So persistence of own culture is a defining characteristic of diaspora communities. And another feature of diasporas is ambiguous belonging. Their location is quite ambiguous. Diasporas are connected to both the host and home countries. So we can say they are connected to two locations, two spaces, two geographical locations. So their location is ambiguous. They are in between these two locations. They are in between. They show the identities of both these locations. They hold the cultural tradition of both these locations, but at the same time, they are not fully accepted by none of these regions or locations. So they are in a state of in-betweenness. The diasporas are always in a state of in-betweenness. This is a particular experience of diaspora communities. This is both enlightening, enriching, and challenging for the diasporas. This is enriching means they hold the tradition, different traditions, the different cultural artifacts, and different belief systems, and different way of life pertinent to different, the host, and they hold different cultural traditions and different ways of life, different styles of life. They hold different styles of life, different cultures belonging to both the home states and the host state. So it is enriching because they are more rich in cultural tradition. We have seen they have cultural hybridity. They have a hybrid culture. That's a mixture of both the cultures of both the nation. They have a hybrid culture that's the mixture of both the host and home states. But at the same time, it is challenging for them because it is tough for them to establish their identity. Another feature of diasporas is the networks and associations. Every diasporas across the globe we can see they are having their own unique networks and associations. The diasporas often create social networks, cultural networks, professional associations in the home states. We can have a number of examples among the Indian diasporas. For example, there are so many associations on lines with regions, language, and other identities. So we have the Malayali diaspora in the US, Gujarati diaspora in the US, the Punjabi diaspora in the US. So many associations and networks based on different bases like region, language, socioeconomic backgrounds. So there are different associations based on regions, religions, maybe language and professions, etc. These associations and networks are instrumental in providing access to different materials, wealth, help, and another aspect of diaspora is diasporas make significant contributions to both the home states and host states, or home countries and host countries. They contribute to the development of these countries. They support the growth of home state. They support the growth of the host and home economies. They contribute to the cultural diversity of these regions, both these regions. They contribute to the cultural diversity of both these regions. They significantly contribute to the economy of the host countries as well as the home countries. They are indeed, primarily they supply to the labor force of the host countries. Best example can be the migration to the GCC countries. The Indians, they significantly contribute to the labor force of the GCC countries. Another character of diasporas is the influence they exert. Another character of diasporas is advocacy and influence. Diasporas take active role in arguing for or in promoting rights and interests of their fellows, both in the host countries and home countries. They even try to influence the policy of the countries both the countries, the own nation and the host nation, the home nation and the host nations. They try to influence even the international policies towards their own country. Many diasporas work abroad in the host countries, mobilizing political support towards their community in the host country. Many of the diasporas actively engage in political mobilization for their cause in the home countries. And finally, advocacy and influence. Diasporas across the globe, they are actively engaged in political mobilization towards their own country and towards their own community in the host country. They not just political mobilization, they are also engaged in economic mobilization to fund for the cause of their own community, their own country, or the political process of their own country. And they also try to influence policy making, both within their own. They also try to influence the political policies. They also try to influence the policies, not just in the home country, but also in the host country. So these are the major characteristic features of diasporas.